Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the printing webinar. My name is Nick, and I'll be doing the presentation with you today. Just like all of our previous webinars, everybody will be on mute, but if you do happen to have any questions at any point during our class, please feel free to go ahead and type that into the questions and areas section of the Zoom panel, and I will go through and answer any questions that may have come up. Also, at the end of the class, I will be sending out an email that will contain a document that talks about and covers everything that we're going to be going over. And if you have any questions while going over that document, you can reach out and contact our support department, and they will be happy to help you out. So again, today's class is on printing. And what we're going to be going over in today's class is we're going to be looking at some detailed information about printing in the Envisioneer program. The first thing we're going to be looking at is talking about the vector versus raster printing. We're then going to be looking at how to actually print a view. We're going to look at how to create PDF files, and then we're also going to be looking at how to batch print. So first, let's discuss vector versus raster printing. So Envisioneer has two environments. There is the model view, where you construct your model, and then there is the worksheet view, where you create your construction documents. In each environment, you can print out copies of your model. What is important to remember is that there are two methods of printing in Envisioneer, depending on whether you want to print out a line drawing or if you're trying to print out a graphical image. And those two are called vector and raster printing. Now, vector printing uses vector graphics. It uses geometric primitives such as points, lines, curves, and polygons to represent objects on your screen. By default, the print tool in Envisioneer uses vector printing when printing from a worksheet view. This means that only actual objects will be included in the output. Non-objects, such as the background color, will not be printed. Because vector printing is vector-based and is resolution independent, your output will be sharp and high quality regardless of any scaling that you do to it. Vector printing should be used for the 2D floor plans, your elevations, your sections, and any details because these views show mainly line work objects. Now, raster printing is the ability to use raster images, also known as bitmap images. And these are represented objects as an array of pixels, as in a photograph. Now, these pixels are going to be tiny dots of individual color that make up what you see on your screen. The size and the quality of the raster image depends on the resolution that is selected. Resolution refers to the number of pixels in an image and is measured in terms of DPI, which is dots per inch. When raster printing is used, everything you see in the view window is included in the output, including your background colors. When printing a raster image, the printer requires more image data than your monitor. This is one of the reasons that raster printing results in a larger file size than vector printing does. Raster printing should be used for any of your 3D Real View, 2D Designer's View, Dynamic Cutaway, and Realistic Display Mode elevation images. We're now going to look at printing a view, and we'll look at both vector versus raster printing so you can see how those work. So each view window in your project has its own set of print properties, such as the printer plotter selection, the page size, the scaling, and the print quality. These are the settings that are used when you use the print tool to print the current view. When you have a view on your screen that you want to print, there are several methods you can use to print it. You can print the image on the screen. You can render the view and print the image in a variety of formats, including bitmap, JPEG, PNG, GIF, or TIFF file formats. Or you can insert the view onto a working drawing sheet to print from there. So let's print an image from the screen in our model view to learn about the print tool. So we're going to select the view that we would like to print, and then we're just going to go up and we're going to select File, Print, and we're going to use the Print option here. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to throw a roof on here real quick just to see if we have one on here. And just going to turn that roof on, and we're just going to go into a quick 3D perspective view. And in that 3D perspective view, let's say we want to print this out from our model. So all we would have to do is go up to File, and we could select Print. And when we select Print, we're going to get the Print dialog box. Now, in this Print dialog box, we're going to see a number of different options available to us. The first thing I want to point out is it's only going to print what you currently have on your screen. So you can't make any changes to how this print is going to look in regards to shadows or anything like that. So this is only going to print what is physically displayed on your screen at this particular point in time. So if you want to add shadows, you need to do that by either going to your realistic mode and turning it on from here, and then you can go up to File and select Print. And now it'll print with the actual shadows. So again, you want to make sure that what you want visible in your print is already displayed in this environment. From here, we can again now change the printer name. So do we want to print this to an actual printer, or are we printing this out to a different option like printing a PDF? I'm just going to select a printer that I have in here, and I'm just going to select the OfficeJet printer. I can then control the actual properties. So I can click on the properties pane here, and in this properties panel, I can go through and I can adjust and define the print settings that I would like to use for that selected printer, such as the paper size, the orientation, and the print quality. So again, looking at the dots per inch. If you want to override the printer settings for paper size, the orientation, and numbers of copies, you can do that by simply selecting the options from within here. So here you can adjust the copies, you can adjust the actual paper size. So we'll leave it at letter, but let's change it to landscape. And we can now see that it updates that view different than from what we had set up in our properties area. In the print area, we also give you the ability to define what you want to print. So by default, you're going to see all extents is being displayed. Now this is going to print the entire drawing, even if part of it is currently not visible. If your drawing appears as a small little blip in the screen, this could be because you have an element way off in the middle of nowhere, and it is trying to print everything. So it's trying to print all. So it's trying to find that little blip. It could be any little object that was misplaced, and it's now trying to find everything and print it. So that is a good way to understand that you may have something not in the correct spot in your drawing, and you may need to try and find it to delete it out. Alternatively, you could also select the window option. Now, because I am in a 3D view, window is not going to be available to me. Window will be used for printing out of your 2D views, and we'll look at that one in just a moment. But again, here's where you can select it from this drop-down list. When applicable, you will see window. And this will again allow you to print just an area of the drawing by creating a window around the specific area you want to print. And then we have the display option, and the display option prints exactly what you see on the screen in that current view. So if only part of your drawing is currently visible, only that part will appear in the actual printout. And I'm just going to click in the print option, and it will then print out that actual drawing for me into onto an actual sheet that I can then send off or review for any kind of adjustments that need to be done. And I'm just going to click cancel next. I don't actually want to print that out. And then I'm just going to go back into a 2D plan view. And I'm going to then go over and I'm going to select in a worksheet. And I'm just going to go up and I'm going to add in a worksheet view here. So I'm going to go up to File. We're going to say Define Smart View. And I'm just going to zoom in on this plan here. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to, again, just turn off anything that I don't want to see. So I'm going to select Foundation and say Display None. Second floor, Display None. And terrain, we're just going to say Display None and OK. And right down here is where we have the ability to control the type of image that we're going to be creating. So the print that I was just referring to was going to be a raster image. It was going to print it as a image file using the dots per inch option. Because I'm now inserting a smart view into a worksheet, it's now giving me the option to say, what type of print do you want this to be? Do you want this to be inserted as an image, which would be my dots per inch, so my raster image? Or do I want this to be a drawing based on lines or vector printing? So I want this to be an actual drawing. I'm going to make sure that it is to the correct scale. I'm just going to say Insert, and now attached to my cursor is that smart view. Now, when I go up to File, Print, and I'm printing from a worksheet view, I'm going to see a couple of different controls available to me for printing this actual scene. So again, printing from a worksheet is going to have different options available to you than you would see in a printing from a model view. And since we're printing a 2D floor plan, we're going to see that I can select a couple of different options here. So again, I'm just going to use the I'm going to do the print PDF option here. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to select a PDF to print for or print to. Now, to briefly discuss the PDF or creating a PDF file. So the PDF file format is a very popular way to share files with other people, whether it be a print company or another business or individuals involved in the actual building of the project you're working on. Many people have a PDF viewer installed on their computer. Those who don't have a PDF viewer can download the Adobe Acrobat Reader for free. To create a PDF, however, you will need to have a PDF writer installed on your computer. This is like a specialized print driver or utility that has the capability of producing PDF files. And when a PDF writer is installed on your system, it will appear in your list of printers like you see on my screen. The default one that I typically use is either a PDF 995 or there's also a Qt PDF writer. And these two options are free. And what they do is they actually will have some ads that pop up when you use it, but they do a great job of creating a PDF. Now, there are purchased options out there available, so you can buy a PDF writer. Those ones you would find through Adobe. And again, you would purchase it and it will have a little bit more commands or a little bit more control over the actual PDF. But if you're just looking to create a PDF and you're looking for a free option, those are the ones that I typically use, PDF 995 and Qt PDF. So now that I have the PDF option selected, what I can now do is again go through and I'm going to have a couple of different controls. So if I go up here and I select that Office Jet printer and I select that one as an example, if I look through here, I have very limited control over the page size that I can print to because it has to correspond with the actual printer. So if I know that I need to print this to an arch size sheet, so a 24 by 36 size sheet, and I don't have a plotter in my office, I'm going to use a PDF writer. The reason for that is I can create the file at the correct size. So now you can see I have a list of all these other different paper sizes that I didn't originally have with my actual printer. And I can see I have the Arch D size sheet, which we've learned in previous webinars is a 24 by 36 size sheet. Once I select that, I can again adjust the actual print properties and say, well, I want that to be in a landscape format. And I have my print area option. And since I'm printing in a 2D view, when I use the drop down here, I'm going to see window. And this is what I want to use here. I want to use window, and I'm now going to select the window button. With the title blocks that we supply, we give you these little red arrows in the corner. And these are just there for this purpose, to snap to when using the print window option, because it will allow you to select those 2 points and you will now get absolutely everything within that area. And we're going to try that one more time. So from here to here. I'm not sure why it's asking about that PDF writer. So let's just grab Cute PDF again, window. And we're going to leave it like that for just a moment. And I'm going to go through and we're going to say that we want to look at our page setup. Now, on the page setup, we can again control where we want this to be set up. So we do want this to be on the center of our paper, or do we want this to be in the lower left of our paper? And I want this to be in the center of the paper. Now we also have an option to print all colors as black. So depending on the office standards, do you want to show the actual colors of the layers, or do you just want all the colors to be black? In most cases, you're going to want them to be just black color. So you're going to select the print all colors as black. Then we have print scaling. Now I want this to be print to scale. And I want this to be printed to the 1/4 inch scale, because that is what my worksheet environment is. That is what I want my sheets to print out as, is that 1/4 inch sizing. So I'm going to make sure that I have the print to scale option selected. The next option we're going to see here is print line weights. Now on the print line weights, again, this is going to reflect back to the actual layers that you're printing to, or you're printing with, pardon me. So your layers are going to have actual colors and line weights assigned to them. When you're printing your worksheets, you're going to want to make sure that you have the line weights also enabled. So any lines that should be darker or lighter will print in that manner. So all you have to do is simply select the print line weights. Now I'm going to click cancel on here for just a moment, because I do think that since I have the view, and I want to bring this up anyways, if we go to View Manager, we can see that there are a couple of different options. And here we can see that Adobe PDF. So this file was originally created and it had the Adobe PDF option selected as its printer. So I don't have Adobe PDF on my system, so it's just letting me know it can't find that printer. So I'm just going to select OK. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to adjust it so that it uses a printer that I actually have. So under my print properties, I'm going to say I want that to use Qt PDF. And when I select elevations, I'm going to say I want it to use Qt PDF. And we're just going to save it so that it uses this Qt PDF all the way through here. And this will just override the option of it trying to find that Adobe PDF. What you can also do from here is you can actually set it up so that all of your sheets will print the exact way that you want. So I can go through and set up all of my working drawing sheets to always use all of these options. So I want, anytime I print a floor plan, to use the Qt PDF, and I want it to be in an RHD in a landscape format using the window option. And then I can select where I want those to print from. So from that corner to that corner. And then I can say, again, I want it to be centered on paper, print colors as black, I want it to be print to scale, so it's going to be at that 1/4 inch is equal to a foot, and I want it to print the line weights. And you would do that for each of those actual sheets. And again, this is something that you can set up in your templates. So you would have your template set up so that it's always going to use the PDF writer or the plotter that you're always going to be printing to. Set it up so that way you don't have to do this every single time. And again, you would just go through, set up each one. I'm not going to do this for all of them. I'm just going to do this one more time so you can see it. Again, we're going to change that to be the landscape format. Under extents, we're going to select window and window. And then it's going to ask me to select the area. So again, we're going to use those arrows. And we're going to say, again, center on page, print colors as black, print to scale, and print line weights. And then we're just going to say, OK. So now when I go back to my floor plan sheet and I want to print this out, when I go File, Print, I don't need to make any of those adjustments. It's now stored all of those for me. So I can see it's going to use the PDF writer, it's going to use the ArchD with the window setting centered on page, print the scale with it set to 1/4 inch with printing of the line weights. If I go to one of the two sheets I didn't update, like details, and I go File, Print, I would need to go through and make those adjustments. So again, set that up in your templates so that it always uses the correct printer that you want to use. And if you happen to have to change it for one project, you can always make those adjustments per project. So the last thing I want to talk about is batch printing. Now, batch printing is the ability to allow you to print multiple views all at once. This is especially useful if you have created a number of different worksheets for your construction documentation. So to do this, what you can do is, again, you want to make sure that under your print properties, you have set up all of your sheets to print the exact same way. So again, you're going to want to go up to your view manager, and you're going to want to make sure that all of your sheets are printing to the correct paper size. So you're going to make sure that, again, these are all set up using those pages. Then you're going to go to File, and instead of selecting Print, you're going to select Batch Printing. Now, under the Batch Printing option, you can again go through and you can say, I want to print, and you can select the actual pages you want to print. You can also access the print properties from this dialog as well. So you can again adjust how you want each page to print out. You can select the pages you want to print, and then you can actually just simply select print, and it will then go through and it will create a printout of the selected pages using the settings that you have defined, and you will see multiple pages being created. You will then just need to go through and name each of those prints once you've selected the print option, and then you can give that an actual name. So if I print this out and I say print, it's going to go pop up, and it's going to ask me to actually save that as a PDF somewhere on my system. So I'm going to go in and say I want to save this to my desktop, and I just want this to be working drawing smart views, and we're just going to say floor plan, and then we're going to say save. And then once that one's done, it's going to ask me to save the next one. And then I just need to remember what the next page was. And in this case, it was going to be my elevation. So I'm just going to go in and say elevations. And then I say save, and this is again saving it to the desktop. Once it's done, those two pages will then be created, and they'll be visible on your desktop. So you can actually go up and I can see working drawings. There is the floor plan one. And when I actually expand this and I zoom in on, I'm just going to close some of this extra stuff here, we can see that it printed that view as a line drawing. It used the vector format, so I'm actually seeing the actual lines. I'm just going to zoom in on it so we can see that it's actually printing the lines. And we can see that it printed everything as black, but I can also see line weights. So here I can see that my walls are set to a darker line weight. My doors and my swings are set to a lighter line weight. And my roof lines are set to a dashed line style in a lighter line weight as well. So this just helps you create your prints using the correct formats, using the coloring options that you want, as well as the line weights and line types. And again, we can close that one down and we can open up the next one. Now, Envisioneer will not create multi-page PDFs, so it's always going to be one PDF for each view. So you're not going to be able to create one PDF that has multiple sheets in it. It is, again, always going to be one PDF per view. So if you are trying to print them all out that way, again, it's just going to be individual PDFs for each sheet that you're printing from. And I'm just going to go back into model. And that covers everything that I wanted to discuss in today's class. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the questions and answers portion of the class. While I'm waiting for questions to come in, I am just going to go over a quick overview or a quick review of what we've gone through today. So there are a number of ways to print views in your Envisioneer program, and a variety of print options to help you get the results you're looking for. Again, you're going to use vector printing for your line drawings, such as your 2D floor plans, your elevations, your sections, and your details. You're going to use your raster printing for any graphical images, such as your 3D real view printouts, your 2D designer view floor plans, your dynamic cutaways, and any realistic display mode elevation images. Each view window has its own set of print properties that you can define prior to printing using the view properties. You can also define print settings in the print dialog at the time of printing. Print settings are going to include your printer selection, your paper size, your orientation, your print area, your page setup, your print scaling, and your line weights. To create a PDF file, you must have a PDF writer driver installed on your computer. To read a PDF file, you must have a PDF reader installed on your computer. So again, I'm just going to pause there for just a moment to see if there are any questions about printing in Envisioneer. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, I will be sending out an email that contains the document that we've used for today's class. So you can go ahead and try this out on your own. And should you happen to have any questions while going over that document, you can contact our support department and they'll be happy to help you out with any questions you may have. And just to clarify one thing, we're going to go back into our 3D view from our model. So when you're printing from here, you're not creating, this isn't going to be the photorealistic rendering option. This is just a realistic shadow mode, being a printout from model view. If you actually want the realistic printouts, you need to go up to View, Render 3D Real View, and then you would render out the scene. And then from that scene, you're going to be able to save it as a JPEG, a bitmap format, and then you would actually print those. So once you've created the rendering, you would then get the option. So if I go to, let's say, D drive, documents, and I go to Envisioneer 16, so in here, I've created some renderings, and what I would then be able to do from here is select pool house, which is one of the renderings that I just did, and I have this as a JPEG format. When I open it up, it will be opened up in a in Paint or some kind of photo viewer, and then from here I can actually print this out. And I would just go up and select. It might be underneath my zoom panel here. Just give me a second to try and find it. So underneath that zoom panel, I can go up and I can actually print this out to an actual printer. I can save it, I can share it. And again, this is how you would be able to print those out and share them with your actual client. So here's the print option right here. And again, you would then be able to choose how you want this to print. Perfect. Well, there doesn't appear to be any questions. So I do want to thank everybody for attending today. I do look forward to speaking with you all again very soon. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.